It's season 2! Yes, we've moved to a new season of podcasts. When a new season comes, big sweeping changes. You'll find all the segments you love replaced with segments you hate. We'll also be covering less spoilers and less detail and be less helpful in general. And we'll also release shorter episodes with 40% more ads. Not only that, but all the cast have refused to sign new contracts. That's because they were offered considerably less money and benefit. That includes me. I've recorded this segment before that contract ran out. This is my last obligation. I'm fucking done, bitches. Deuces! Hey, as always, we begin the podcast by looking at what's in my bag. This time, it's the next time on the podcast segment, and some bricks. I'm going to throw it in the river. I'm proud to announce that we here at the Podcat Potcast have an exclusive Final Fantasy TCG related reveal for the show. What exactly is it? Well, we've had our Podcat detectives hard at work, digging into personal details of some of the community members. We're going to tell you live and reveal, not docs, who is behind the Final Fantasy TCG shitpost account. Stay tuned! Hey, do you like podcasts? How about adverts? How about fake adverts on podcasts? Well, we here at the Podcat Potcast have the deal of the century for you. For a limited time only, you can have your very own fake adverts on your podcast for a low, expensive fee. You can choose from a range of packages, from paying to have them recorded by one of our own fake podcast experts, or have one of our experts come and train you so you can create your own. Alternatively, you could just try and do it yourself, I guess, but that would be a bit of a wank move. Alright guys, it's time to reveal who is behind the Final Fantasy TCG shitpost account. It is, let me just consult my notes here. It is a 3-3 elk. Oh, for fuck's sake, not again! Alright. I'm gonna postpone this segment because all my notes have turned into 3-3 elks, okay? Alright, gather around everybody. It's time for a story. If you need to, get your PJs on, brew yourself a hot cup of cocoa, maybe some marshmallows in there, get a blanket or a slanket or a dressing gown, snuggle up into bed maybe, or snuggle into someone else, sit back, relax, and listen to a tale. Our story begins in the sleepy American town. You know the one that doesn't sleep. It's about a man that strived for more, that sought out new challenges and always wanted to test himself, and also backstabbed and betrayed everyone in the process. This is a story about a man called Jeff. Jeff was the host of a popular segment on a popular podcast. A podcast called the Podcat Potcast, and Jeff had many adoring fans. But one day, Jeff got an offer to host his own podcast. Jeff smiled and said okay. So he hatched a plan. First, he'd fake he'd go on missing. Then, he'd wait a little bit, and using the money he'd received up front for the podcast, fake his own death. It was an elaborate plan, but it had to fool everyone. How else could he leave the Podcat? Just say he's leaving? Discuss it like a man? No, he knew that no one actually leaves the Podcat. Anyone that tries to would be killed off. Verbally, that is. So with his death successfully faked, with the host of the Podcat announcing Jeff was dead, he realised there was actually a further opportunity here. An opportunity to make some money. To host and be paid for one last Podcat segment before he rode off into the sunset, hosting his new podcast. So he put on a wig. Now, this wig was actually shorter than his real hair, but that didn't matter, no one would notice. He approached the host of the podcast, claiming to be Jeff's sister, and that she wanted, to host their own segment. The host agreed, and she or he did so. He received a paycheck for this. Then, all he did was take off the wig, and suddenly the sister was missing too. Now, Jeff, he's begun hosting his own podcast, and he's happy, and he thinks his plan is flawless, and no one would find out. Well, someone found out. Someone great, important, and powerful. The last person Jeff wanted to find out. But now he knows, and he's coming for Jeff. Jeff is no longer safe. He's not safe in his house, at his work, or in his new role, hosting the Live from Midgar podcast, which he started hosting from episode 48, available in video form on the Geeky Villain YouTube channel and other podcast locations in audio form. He's especially not safe from the last one because everyone can find him there, and they should go and find him. Wow. What a great story, what a wild ride. If that scared you and makes you want to seek out help, you can find links in the description for all those things. Okay, guys, we've kept you waiting long enough. It's again finally time to reveal who's behind the Final Fantasy TCG shitpost account. It is... Fuck, it's the fire alarm. Everybody out! Everybody out the building! Everybody out! Alright, we're all back in the building, but the sprinklers have ruined my notes, so I'm going to have to print them out again and delay this segment. It's time, guys, for an interview with Ten. He's going to Worlds for the second time, so I'm going to ask him a couple of real good questions, get some good scoops, and, of course, as you might imagine, he's absolutely under no kind of contract and signed nothing that means he can't say. So he's going to give you the real answers. So Ten, what decks do you take in the World?
I played the 5th.
Oh, okay, And who do you think's your main competition at Worlds?
Lawyer.
And is there anybody at Worlds you think is just going to be, easy win? Who you're looking forward to actually playing because you're just thinking easy win, easy money?
Gunslingers.
Okay, cool. Thanks for your time, Ten. Thanks for your time. It's time for TFE Talk. That's right. It's been changed to TFE Talk. It's no longer Podcat Talk. I changed it to TFE Talk. Why? Because I felt like it. Just get over it. Alright, so Worlds is on the horizon. Opus 10 is finally out. What do you want to talk about?
What events is everyone looking to go to?
Wow, that's a humble brag, isn't it?
What are you guys up to, the last weekend of November?
Well, we did just have an interview. I want to know what everyone else is.
Well, me and Yoh have got Winter Cup in December, which should be cold. And
I have Majin
Wild West.
Sen Yokohama next week.
Oh,
I think that's the first official tournament, first official major after the set release.
And you're going to win it with something to generate an interactive, right?
Yeah, I've got a real interactive deck for one player.
Style.
One player interaction.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
Just run Riku, and if anybody calls you out on it, just get aggressive. I'm pretty sure they'll back down quickly. Won't be an issue.
That'll go well.
Yeah. Slam your hand on the table. Nothing bad ever happens.
Scream fuck.
If that deck could play Riku, it would be so good.
You're not a nice person. What are we going to get banned this time?
At this rate, it's Balefort, right? I guess.
And you might be thinking, yeah, let's ban that Valorfor. But no, not that Valorfor.
Maybe Layak. Maybe Layak is the card we get banned this time.
I don't think Eureka plays anymore to win. I think he just plays to, leave his mark. Who are you? Oh, I'm this guy that got these 3 cards banned.
Yeah, how many cards can he ban before he gets sick of the game? Let's tune in next time, folks.
If they ban Layak, I'm going to be really upset. I won't lie to you. I'll feel personally targeted if they ban Layak.
Well, yeah, it's one of your favorite cards, hey.
Yeah.
So I've got a question, right? Is it a hate crime if someone moves to Japan and ruins their card game?
It's an act of war, isn't it, from a foreign nation?
Yeah.
Yeah, could be. Okay, let's talk about everybody's favorite card from the set, and you can say why, or you don't have to, or you can just talk about whatever with the card.
Sounds.
I really like, Gilgamesh, the Black Tortoise Sea one. He's not great, but I think he's really fun.
At least he comes in cheaper with the new guy, right? So
yeah, I've had 8 opuses of being fan-fritted constantly now. It's nice to be able to play something and keep it on the board for a turn. Not very exciting.
Fair enough.
What about 10?
It's just conferring with my lawyer.
Zilon, go.
I'm really undecided. I feel like I'm going to go ahead and steal this from Eureka and just say Citra. So that card's fucking nuts.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Well, just 3 for 7 on curve, but then it's an EX burst that can get you a card. And also, its second ability is actually really helpful in a lot of the lists that might run it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the amount of games I've won just because my opponent has had one thing on the board and they're a bit behind, and then I just fucking slam dunk it. I don't know. Citra is just so neat, and it enables so many different things, and I love it.
Yeah, I will say it's definitely a card that I can't see leaving the metagame for a long time. Like maybe like monsters and summons won't be usable, but like barring that, there's no reason to like not see
So it's an
Citra
actual-
around in some archetypes. Like it's
nice
just
for light
too
to have a card.
versatile,
Sorry.
so light, free EX burst. It
Just
enables a lot of degenerate stuff and is just strong in normal decks too.
how pushed did they have to make that card for us to run anything light?
Yeah.
It took 10 sets, but we got there.
Well,
Hey,
they
we
didn't
could
wanna-
play like the 2-cost Onion Knight back forever ago.
I mean, to be fair, the Zidane was. I look at Citra very much the same way Zidane was around the time I started playing, right? If you don't have a reason to run Light or Dark or something really specific, you're probably running Citra.
Oh yeah.
As long as you have the targets to support it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what kind of targets do you need? Like, say you're going to put 2 Citra in your deck, you probably need like 7 summons. That's a lot of
Yeah, I
decks,
think
right?
that 7 is probably the right, and then it helps if you have at least like a monster, but
I mean, if you're not playing Citra, you're playing Reagan as well. That's just
Well,
recursion
yeah.
in any color that needs it.
maybe. Sometimes you play neither. Sometimes there are some decks that still just want to play Veritas as the only dark, I think, but
Yeah, that's a card everyone kind of forgot about pretty quickly, isn't it?
yeah.
It still
After-
remains.
Yeah, I remember
after it calls
the-
for bans.
The pitchforks and torches about how Veritas is fucked and it needs to be banned, and now there's so many good dark options that like
And,
Even
and
before
it's hard to
now it's
slot.
very light on- yeah.
A lot of Opus 9, Veritas was rare. Like, it's pretty rare to run into, I found.
There was a bit of a perception that people were teching for him when they weren't really. So I don't know if that kind of put people off just because a couple of people would be teching in Swiss. There are things like Unify, Bahamut 4. You saw them very rarely. So I don't know if that just put people off like, I'm not going to bother putting this in my deck at all.
oh,
Which is a
actually,
stupid reason to not play a card.
Okay,
feel
I'm gonna follow up the Citra with Ku Sith because that card is good.
I was just about to say I feel bad because I was just like, oh, hang on, this is a better answer for me right now.
No, I'll take the Ku Sith. Yeah, it's
That's-
combine it with Citra. First of all, it's another EX for some reason, and then combine it with Citra, and it's Reagan. But then you get to like play it at your leisure and stuff like that. I don't know. It's so good and adds a lot of recursion to an element that already had it, but didn't really want to be forced into playing Puma or Lark.
I think the main thing with Q-Sith as well is it just floats really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good card.
Yeah.
It was probably going to be my pick that I could think of. Yeah. Aside from like the WAF cards, they're kind of insane.
Yeah. Ku Sith just seems really good with the.
I mean, I don't know if I really have a favorite card yet, but there's so many just insanely cool build-arounds in the set.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. And yeah, if I wasn't thinking about Worlds and how do I beat WAF with the fun thing that I want to play, I might be enjoying myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
My favorite card is Sakura because I love all the questions about it.
Oh my
I sure
god.
don't want to die.
Oh.
Thanks, Yo. I was going to have a good day today, and then you went and said that.
Can we talk about how disappointing Sid at FFB was? Because
I think
Yikes.
it's still. I think it's a little early to say that Sid FFB is like a useless card or like a disappointing card. It's probably a card that needed to be printed, right?
Oh, 100%. I think it scales over time. Like it just gets better and it's a tech option. But like for me,
it's
it
good.
just went from 3 to 2 to 1 to not even in the deck anymore.
Yeah. It's nice with all the Rampare stuff floating around, and it can also sometimes, get the rain, stuff like that.
I think it's most obviously an answer to water, but water's feeling really weak this set.
Yeah, I will say that, I think it's obviously an answer to rain, right? Because it kills both the Prish and the Shantota that come out. And the Cam, for that matter. So, like, it kind of hits, like, the Dark Package and Rampare and Star Sibyl, which are almost all in the deck in some form or another. Some cut the Dark Package or whatever, but, And then it also hits, like, the Viking that comes in off of Layla. And it also incidentally prevents them from playing Rain for 0. They have to pay at least 1, which isn't a huge deal, but, like, sometimes it matters, there's a lot of stuff like that where it might be incidentally good at some point, but I just don't think that I can't see a deck that makes use of it proactively, and that makes it a vanilla 3CP in a lot of cases. So.
I'd like to talk a little bit about Onion Knight 3.
Yeah.
Which one, Yoh?
Oh boy.
It really makes you think about deck building, because it makes you think, if I'm building a deck with this in it or them in it, I've made a mistake. So I should start again. It's really good. It's a really good card for that.
Yeah, actually, I was at like a meetup today and for practicing FFTCG stuff, and there was a player who brought like a multicolor Onion Knight deck that used Warrior of Light to bring a bunch of them out, basically. And Pugilist became insanely huge. And you actually use the Sid 2 to bring all of the one-cost different color backups to your hand, and you can play them out if they're in the right color off of Chaos. And then Chaos is never going to, be a dead card for them because it's dark and not multi-element like Shantoto is. So it's actually surprisingly consistent. You can usually get it out in like the early mid-game to mid-game. You can get the Onion Knight effects on, and then once you get up to 5 backups, you can comfortably Warrior of Light a bunch of them into play and get a lot of advantage, and you just have a whole field of beaters, and you can basically play whatever color summons you want because you're on multicolor, although the primary element still has to be wind. And the other element that we're looking into is Arya a lot of the time, because you want to have access to Arc, the new one, to bring back standard units. Yeah, it's just a cool deck.
Yeah.
Yes.
So with Onion Knight, what are you talking about? Which is the four of them.
What?
What?
Are we not talking about just the small one?
We're talking about the 1-drop ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one drop.
Which
Number
one are we
3.
talking about?
Onion Knight 3, Onion Knight 3.
Mate,
Onion Knight
they
3,
all
and
do
Onion
the
Knight
same
3.
fucking thing. Do you never read cards, mate?
No,
Have we met?
Onion Knight 3 better than the other ones.
Yeah, the one we're talking about is all of them, because they all do the same thing.
They've got different numbers, different colors.
Yeah, all of the standard unit 1-drop Onion Knights that get plus 6k when you have the Hitler condition on them.
Well, we just have to say the wind one is the
Wow.
strongest because wind.
Yeah, the fire one is definitely the weakest, right?
Yeah, always.
That's what it really comes down to. Yeah.
Would you say that the green one has a wind condition?
I mean, obviously, Fire gets the short end of the stick here because you can play Arc backup with the wind one. That makes it bigger Onion Knight, right?
Okay.
Fire just
Are
gets
we gonna?
Yeah.
every time.
But then you can't play Sid 2, so that's disappointing. You could totally build around it that way, though. Then they would all be 1-drop 9Ks.
But can't you just play WAF and Rain's a 1-drop 9k?
Well, Rain's a 1-drop 8K.
Oh, is she 8k? I thought she was 9. Shit.
I know, she's 8K. She's 8K.
Well,
And she costs 0.
But yeah, she costs 0.
That's a fun
Basically
interaction.
has no conditions other than the deck building ones.
The
Good
Sid
times.
interaction. I just want someone at locals to do that. Someone has Sid and someone plays their Rain for free. Goodbye, Rain.
I bet you anything somebody's gonna brain fart and do it at Worlds.
I hope so. That would be amazing, especially on stream. I want to be that person to do that.
live your dreams, bro.
If
Dreams
that
be
happens-
dreams.
If that happens, I want the person who's playing Sid FB to fucking shuriken it like the white mage.
Yeah, that's
Just say,
Right,
read the
Jason already
card.
waiting for it.
Yeah, read the card. Read.
I
Yeah,
don't
that'd be
know.
great.
Probably my favorite card of the set, and I haven't built a good deck with it yet, is Unai. That'd be my answer. How cool is it to just know your stuff every turn? It's
Every
so
turn.
easy.
Free.
Yeah, it's good fun. I don't know if it's any good though. Not yet.
Yeah, seems like a healthy way to play the video game.
Hey, that's your job.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Maybe I should be building an Une deck.
But yeah, Une looks cool, but I don't know. I feel like I just want to play Renoa most of the time. Maybe I'm just bad at building decks
yeah,
around
there's
stuff like that.
Varying levels of commitment there.
It's a very
I'm just really
linear
worried,
game
like-
plan, I would say at the least.
I have flashbacks to like trying to flicker stuff and it getting killed. So I think if I was committing even more with Une and it got killed, I'd probably be salty.
I think by the like second or third flicker is where you're like, oh, okay, I'm feeling real good. But
Well, I think honestly, depending on what the first flicker is, it really only takes one. Like,
well, Nidhogg. All right, guys, we got it.
That sounds like a good card. Tell me more.
So a lot of people I don't know how much I should talk about this actually, but I'm just going to talk about it because we're not putting a ton of thought in developing it. The Une plus Garnet starter synergy is just good. You just draw a bunch of cards, like, so you can like Une and then play starter Garnet like immediately after the Une comes out most of the time, and then you're just gonna draw 2 cards and recoup off of Une a lot.
Yeah, in that case, Uno's paid for itself, but then what are you doing before you take
Yeah, well,
Does that say,
haven't
really?
figured out
we
that
must-
part.
and then after the second turn, you're getting a ton of advantage basically. So like the first turn, it's still okay, I think.
I wonder what's the fastest way to deck yourself out.
Oh, it's definitely Une and Viking. Like,
No, it's Une Dark Lord.
there's
Is what
no
it is.
way that there's anything faster than that.
Une Dark Lord.
Maybe
Une-
even just like throw a cloud at them.
Yeah, you know what? I guess Une Dark Lord would be a faster way to deck yourself out. I can't deny that. That sounds awful. Holy shit.
I want to build this now.
Somewhere Richie's like scribbling down furiously. I can make it work.
That should take you like what? 2 to 3 turns, right? After the Une comes out? Like, there's no way that like if you play Une turn 1 and then like Dark Lord turn 2 and then a summon, you've lost 20 cards plus the initial 5 plus like 4. So yeah, like one or 2 more turns to do it.
Does Dark
You
Lord
can
resolve if
deck
you don't have
yourself
10
out in like
cards in
4 to
deck?
5 turns.
Well, you can start on the second turn, right? That's amazing. Let's go.
So I guess turn 4 maybe it's probably the.
If there's ever like a race to the bottom format, I'm building that. Tier 1.
Let's try once more to reveal who's behind the Final Fantasy TCG shitpost account. I've printed my notes off, got them here. It's time to go. Here we go. The person that runs the Final Fantasy TCG shitpost account is... Hey, who are you coming into the studio wearing a balaclava? Is that a knife? What? Is this a robbery? Buddy, fuck off, I'm doing a podcast. Hey, get off my note. Oh, fine, have them. Fine. I'll just print them again, but we're gonna have to delay the segment. Fuck you. You better run away. Have you heard of the new craze sweeping the world? It's called yoga. You get up, you stretch your body about in weird ways, and you feel better after because you aren't doing that shit anymore. Whew, it's pretty great. Well, it's about to get better because I'm introducing yoga, the innovative yoga experience brought to you by Bikram Chaudhary, a yoga master who spent many years in the Himalayan mountains refining and tuning his body to the peakest of peak physical condition, and now he's ready to share it with you. Call now to receive a free trial period of a week for only $40. It's the end of the podcast introductions. Your host for this podcast has been me, Yoh. Your co-hosts have been Esifor, Nado, and Eureka. The guests have been 10 Letters and the young boy Zalon. Alright, guys, we're going to do it. We're going to really, really do it. I'm getting really close to running out of tape, but I want to get this reveal done before that happens. Thankfully, I've once again printed my notes, and it's finally time to tell you who's behind the Final Fantasy TCG shitpost account. Although we are, again, cutting it really close with tape, as I said, so I'm going to get this out as quick as possible. Okay. The person behind the Final Fantasy TCG shitpost account, as in the person that created and runs the account, person that takes screenshots and posts them as tweets on the account, well, I can tell you, first of all, that's one person. And now, I want to tell you who that one person is, their exact name that they use and they go by. Yes, it's finally time to reveal who it is for the world to hear. I want everyone to be excited about hearing it. Here we go, it's time to reveal it. It is, drumroll please, pause for dramatic effect. It is. It's